All right, guys, so now we want to start to work on our log out and also the nav bar. Okay, so we're going to go to our components, layout, navbar JS, and let's go ahead and bring in from React. I'm going to bring in a fragment because we're going to be using a fragment, and then the use context hook. Okay, and then let's bring in the auth context. No, we want context slash auth context. Okay, and then we'll go ahead and create our variable here, not alert, equals use context. Okay, and then we're going to pull some stuff out. So let's do const curly braces. We're going to take out the is authenticated because we need to know if we're authenticated. We're going to pull out the logout method, which we haven't actually created yet, which is very simple though, and then the actual user. All right, and then let's see. We're going to kind of divide this up based on these links, based on if we're logged in or not. So I'm going to create a variable for auth links. And this is just going to contain some JSX. I'm going to put a fragment in here, and then I'm going to put the list items for the auth links. So I'm going to have a list item that just says hello and then the name, the user name. So we want to first check to make sure there's a user. If there is, then let's do user.name. Okay, so that's the first, and then we're going to have a log out link. It's actually going to be an event. It's going to call an on click, but for now let's just add so this is actually going to be an a tag, and let's say href. I'm going to set it to hash exclamation because we're going to have an on click function here, but for now I'm going to just put in, let's just put the icon. We're going to do FAS FA dash sign dash out dash alt. So we'll have a little logout icon, and then I'm going to put a span with the class name of hide dash SM, which is just going to hide the text on small screens. It'll just show the icon. And that's all in the core CSS. All right, so that's all I want for the auth links. For the guest links, I'll just copy this. Let's see. So for guest links, it's just going to be, let's see. You know what? We don't really need a home and about link. I think it might look better without those. Let's do without those. We'll put the home link. I mean, we don't even need a home link because it's really our only page. So why don't we do this? Why don't we just keep the register and login links for guest, and I'm going to just get rid of the home link and the about page, the about link. And if you happen to add more pages to this application, then you can go ahead and just use those. But I think what I'll do is just for the guest links, just have a register and login. I think that makes more sense because once you're logged in, there's nowhere to go, right? You can't go. You don't want to go back to register or login. There's no other pages, and if you're logged out, you can't go to the home page anyway. You get redirected once you register or log in. So it doesn't really make sense to have a login. A home link. So in UL right here, I'm just going to go ahead and let's see. Let's put. We'll say is authenticated because we want to check to see if we're authenticated. If we are, then let's put auth links. If we're not, let's put guest links. Okay, so I think that should work. Proxy error. I don't know why sometimes this proxy error happens. Let's see if that actually works. unauthorized. So it looks like we got logged out. Let's see. Let's go to login again and log in. Sam@gmail. Log in. Okay, so we get hello Sam Smith up at the top with a log out button here. And if I reload, that sticks. So now we can always tell if we're logged in or not. So let's add functionality to this logout. And don't worry about any of this. Obviously, this stuff is going to all change because we're going to get the actual user's contacts from the database, from the back end. But I'm just trying to work on this whole authentication first. So for the logout, let's go to our auth state, which is in our context, and go down to where we have logout. And this is actually going to be very, very simple. We're just going to dispatch the logout type to the reducer. And in our reducer, let's go, all we're going to do for the logout is the same thing we've been doing for this stuff, the register fail log. We just want to clear everything out. So let's say case log out. And then if we go back and I hit logout, oh, we didn't call it. So we need to go back into our nav bar and actually call logout. So let's go, let's see, where do we want to do this? I'm going to actually have an on logout. So let's do an on click equals on logout. I'm not calling it directly because there's one other thing I want to do once we log out, and that's clear the contacts, but we're going to get to that in a little bit. So that's why I'm not calling logout directly right there. I'm going to actually create on logout. Oops. Okay, and we're going to call logout here. So let's save that, and that should work. Let's hit logout, and there we go. So now we can see our register and login. Now we're going to have to create a private route because we don't want to be able to access this home page, this dashboard, if we're not logged in, which right now we can. So I think that that should be the next thing we work on. And notice we're getting this unauthorized because we're running load user. However, we just cleared out the token when we logged out, so it's not passing. We're not passing a valid token, so we get a 401 back. All right, but in the next video, we'll work on creating a component that we can use as a private route so that this will not show if we're not logged in.